And I will now share my screen. And thanks everyone for joining us. I mean, we have 2 people so far, but it's good. Okay, so did I share my screen actually properly? And now it looks good, right? Okay, so I will today talk about like how to leverage your scientific research with the business, commercial or commercialization. And it is a very important topic because we all being scientists, we always want our innovations to be in the market, but we don't know how to properly do that. And even when we are transferring ourselves from academics to industrial side, we actually lack certain like very key points or key elements that we really need to master actually if we want to really excel in that field. So in my case, if you see in my journey, this was like mostly it is academic and research based journey, but this was the point when I actually entered into the business side, when I actually started my internship as a commercialization intern in Triumph, and I volunteered for that internship. And before starting that internship, because I have zero knowledge about business, so I took some courses from Harvard Business School just to get myself aware of certain terminology and certain aspects of business side. And this was the point where I realized that I have done so much work in academic side, in the labs, in research, and I have gained so much experience, and that experience can actually help me leveraging all those innovations or all those scientific research things into the market side. And it was really fun for me for working on the business reports and all those things. After that, I actually started thinking about it a little bit seriously, and in pandemic I was a little bit more serious about it to start something of my own, because I think in pandemic many people had to start thinking out of the box. So then I started a small like a firm, like which was a business consultancy firm, which is a 𝐶𝐼𝐸. And 𝐶𝐼𝐸 is basically a platform where we provide opportunities to mainly the women or the immigrant people or the women who are on the mat leaves, and they are at home for some family obligations or something, but they want to stay in the job market. So my business model was very flexible towards students who want to gain business experience, or towards like women in particular, and the new immigrants like who want to gain experience in the North America. So this is how I created this platform, and I started entering into the business side, and I gained more knowledge how to do the marketing and sales and how to do the proper things. So I will actually go next in my slide. It is a very common perception that scientists cannot be a good business people, or scientists actually fail when they enter into the business side. I don't think so. I think it's completely wrong. And there are certain reasons, because scientists are very well equipped with certain skill sets, which are, first of all, I can tell you some examples in the history. And in the history, if you see, for example, one is the Benjamin Franklin. I think everyone knows about him. He was a first-rate scientist and also a businessman. He actually invented many devices such as the lightning rods, bifocals, and the iron furnace, etc., and the harmonica. And his business achievements were very impressive. He started becoming a businessman at the age of 24 when he owned his own shop, like a printing shop and like a general store and a newspaper. Then everyone probably is familiar, let me actually get my pointer, is familiar with Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, we all know that he invented the bulb, but we did not know that he also started his business venture. When he invented the bulb, and he knew that it could go, he had the vision that it could go in a long run, and he had the vision to actually bring the electricity to all the masses. So he went on to form business ventures such as Edison Electric Light, company and he sought some and secured some investor. Maybe you all have heard about the JP Morgan. So JP Morgan was one of his biggest investors in his company. And actually very few people know about the Marie Curie. I wanted to include this like this example in this slide because Marie Curie was the woman scientist in that like era where it was very hard for women to find a place in even in scientific community. And for business community, it was even harder for them. And what she did when after her discovery, she knew that it could have it could have a great impact in future scientific discoveries. So what she did, she built some collaborations with industrial partners, and she trained their physicists in her own laboratory. And that's how I think that was like the early phases. Those were like the early phases when science was having the collaboration on the industrial side. So she was one of the pioneers in that area. And I think these are the three examples, one of the few very lots of examples actually, which actually can inspire you if you in future you also want to enter into the business side or you want to bring your innovation towards commercialization. So I will actually tell you that I already told you that this is scientists actually have all qualities and all the skill set and the right mindset to enter into the business. For example, we actually are very well equipped about analytical thinking. We are very skeptical and we are very curious about the new things. And when by analytical thinking, I mean that when we have to take a task or a project, we do the thorough research. We literally dig deep into the background of that project. For example, if I'm going to invent a medicine, if I'm working on a medicine for Alzheimer's or something, I will do a proper thorough research that how much work has been done in the past and what were the pros and cons of some of the available therapeutic medicines in the market right now. So this is the one thing that we are really good at it. Actually, this is our plus point. Another plus point is innovative mindset. We don't only improve the technology which is already exists, but we also had a mindset that we create. We are also like a creators, right? So we also create a new opportunities, new technologies, new innovations. So we have very creative mindset, I would say. Then we always find logic and we always have healthy argumentation for our project or the task in hand. So for logic, we don't accept the things which are baseless or which don't have any logic or which are not facts based. So this is and our argumentation is very much like productive and based on the healthy discussions. We are also like a problem solvers. So for the problem solving, when we are presenting some problem, even in a certain project, we are encountering certain problems. We don't really say that, okay, we are not going this way. We can change the whole thing, whole scenario or whole situation or the whole experiment. We actually stick with that and we try to figure out why this problem is being created here. And we try to find a solution. So this way we are also the problem solver, which is actually very important aspect if you want to be in the business world. Then we have like the scientific background or the science background. And this community is actually more like dependable on the evidence-based facts, basically. This is the normal culture in the scientific community. We want to see the logic, we want to see the evidence, we want to see the facts, we want to see some data, and then we say, okay, yes, this thing can work and this thing can go ahead. We don't literally play with numbers and make the false, I would say, the fact sheets, which is not actually the scientific mind. In addition to analytical thinking and the skeptical curiosity, we also are very much collaborative. We have the collaborative mindset and we work in the team. You can see in the science, in the laboratories that supervisors, sometimes PIs, they work side by side with their team in the laboratories, right? So we don't only act as a leaders, as a project supervisors, but we also act in the team, within the team, as a team member. And we have, and science is very much collaborative thing. You cannot, only one person cannot start something and cannot finish something. So we always believed in the collaborations, and we build these collaborations within different departments, different institutes, to complete certain projects. And I think during pandemic, the development of the vaccinations for COVID-19 is a big example of this collaborative type of research. So another points which we have actually been scientists is that we are very much goal oriented and we are risk takers. So goal orientation means that we are very much we set some milestones and we know that we have to reach this goal. Sorry, so we have to meet the deadlines or something. In all this scenario, we also know that how to stay calm when we have lots of pressure on us to meet the deadline for writing the grants, to deliver certain projects. So we know how to take the pressure as a scientist. And we are also deadline driven. We know that this is the timeline, these are the resources available, and we have to finish the project within the certain timeline. And we are very much detail oriented people too. We look into every fine detail. We read actually between the lines, I would say. So this is very important aspect also of being scientists. And then we have the future insight, which is very important in business, because whenever you are going to build certain project, you need to see how far this project can be, or how far this business venture can be in the next 5 years, or in the next 10 years, and how much money it can generate for you. Money, like revenue side, I know we are weak. Being a scientist, we are weak, but we definitely know how far this project can go and what will be the future scope of this project. In addition to all these points, there is one most important point which you really need to focus if you are going to enter into the business world, which is the self and project management. Self-management, I call it self-accountability. When you are working in certain, as a consultant or even in a business, you really need to be accountable for yourself too. Like how much effort you are putting in. Are you meeting the deadlines? It's not that you only need to manage your team and you only need to see their performance. You need to also be self-critical for your own performance too. That's very important aspect. And the project management. Now, in project management is a very broad term. There are several things which are included in the project management. For example, project management starts with design. You first design some idea, which comes with idea, which is the same which we do in our research projects. Then there's a development process where you are going to now start looking into the research, like the project research, like the background research, and you are going to actually look into the resources which are available to you. That's the development step. Then you are going to process that development step. For example, now you have all the tools in the hand, how to implement those tools. So that is basically the process step that you are going into the project management. Next would be the monitor. Now everything is monitored. You're performing your experiment, you're performing that project. Now you're monitoring that. Monitoring means you are taking care of the certain timelines, you're taking care of the collaborations if that involved, you are taking care of the data when you have to get, you are taking care of each step in that process. So that's called as monitor. Then you are going to evaluate that, which is the data evaluation and the performance evaluation. And then you are going to do the analyze, which is the statistical analysis, basically. After statistical analysis, you are either going to improve your design or your idea, or you are going to go to the next step. This is a basic project management that we use in our laboratories. Now, if we go to the business management, you see it is almost same thing. Then what are the reasons? What are the problems where we lack our skills or we lack our experience? That basically falls in develop and the process part of the business management. And I can explain you how and why and how we can improve it. So in the development in the business side, it's a complete market analysis. So how you do this market analysis? You do the risk analysis. Yeah, we are aware being scientists how to do the risk analysis. But here the risk analysis is not only about like this drug or medicine will work in vivo or in vitro or not, or this medical device will work or not. It doesn't involve only this risk analysis. It also involves about your financial condition or your revenues, that how that would you will it be sustainable to generate enough revenue for 3 5 years? How many people you can like afford financially, like as a startup? So risk analysis involve all those tools. Those tools also fall into your financial analysis, and I think this is the biggest aspect where we being scientists need to train ourselves. We need to know the terminology. Even if we have revenue and we are acting as a scientific officer in some business, being a scientist and being in business, we really need to know at least the basics of finances, how to control the finances, how to prepare the cost structure, how to do the cost analysis, how to then how to read the numbers. Basically, we really need to know the basics of these things if we want to like sustain ourselves in the business for a long term, because we cannot blindly rely on other people for everything. That cannot be that's not a healthy aspect. Basically, then we have to do the competitor analysis. I think this is something that we also do in our projects, in our research projects. How we do it, we see in research project, it is named as when we are looking into other developments by similar developments by other groups, other research groups. That's also the competitor analysis. In business world, the competitor analysis is the competitor intelligence, which is mainly based on how many people are already in the market, and how and what is your then unique value proposition, why you stand unique and different from them. And there can be many aspects in that thing too that I will describe later. Then you are looking into the demand analysis. In demand analysis, you are looking into the geographical area, like where you are going to perform that business. For example, I am going to have this business and I'm going to operate only in the British Columbia. So if I'm going to operate it only in British Columbia, then I will look where are my clients, where are my customers, right? For example, if I'm working on medical equipment or like medicine, then I will look into it that how many hospitals are offering the treatment for that, and how many hospitals can be my customers. And in addition to that, I will also look what is the curve of patients, like what is like a ratio or number of patients coming to those hospitals, because patients are also my customers in indirect way. So here you have to do the complete demand analysis, and I will show you some resources which you can use for that thing. Then you have to do the product analysis. In product analysis, you are going to see that this is the product you are offering and bringing into the market. How is it different from the other products which are already being used and adopted? I will show you a real life based example later about it. Then the distribution analysis. Distribution analysis is very important. If you are not a distributor for your own product, then you definitely are looking for a distributor. And then you are also looking, because if you are a startup in the mid-career phase, you don't have so much budget to afford like a big distributor. So you literally have to be very critical in this step also, because you literally need to think about your budget. Budget and resources are very important in the business. So you really need to think about it, how you can sustain. And whenever you're going to create a new idea or a design, you need to think about sustainability for 3 to 5 years. So securing capital is the first important thing. When you have an idea, you have a design, you want money for it, right? But now you are looking for different like people who can give you the money. But the other thing is, those people also need to see some data from you. To generate data, you again need some money. So it's like it's called as catch-22 in the business world, and it's also called as a value catch. Why? Because you need money to do your business, but at the same time, to get that money, you need to show your data. But to get that data or that performance evaluation, you again need to have some money for that, right? So it is a catch-22. Not you need to do certain aspects. For example, if you have an idea, you are going to develop some medicine or some device, you need people and you need not only one person, you need a group of people who have different skill set who can help it in that project, right? You need a space, a laboratory space. You need someone who can take care of all the paperwork, an administrator. Then you need someone who can take care of, if it is a new idea, who can take care of the patent and who can file a patent on your behalf. This is a lot of money then you are going to ask for from the venture capital. Do you think this is a right way to approach them, to people who are the investors? No, because then you are giving them a big number to help you out. Now, there are certain ways that you can do. You can build partnerships. You have an idea. Now, there are the different ways you can do it. Maybe you are the part of the lab who can act as a CRO or CMO, right? Who are manufacturing it. Then you are actually collaborating with different industrial partners. So just give me 1 second. I need to actually drink some water. So I'm having a coffee. Okay. So maybe you are the part of the lab, and that lab can act as a CRO. CRO is the contract research organization, or contract manufacturing organization. Sorry. And your lab has done some, developed some new technology. Now you can seek some industrial partners here. You can seek them. You don't need to worry about the lab space. You don't need to worry about the equipment. You don't need to worry about the people, right? Sorry. So the next thing that you can do is that you can create, if you are like an individual and you are not a part of any laboratory, then you can actually have some agreement. You can find some laboratories who can work as a CROs and CMOs with you, and in addition, those agreements and those like partnership you can use to to secure some fundings in the future. Now, who are these people who can invest in your business? They can be the venture capitalists, but you need to be very careful because they always there are some royalties and some commissions. So you need to be very careful when you are seeking money from the venture capital. Sorry, I had a battery backup in the past few days. So then there can be some industrial partners, right? So industrial partner is a good partnership actually, because that can actually give you some more benefits. And if you are seeking some bigger companies as your partner, then of course it will be your market and your distribution and supply will be also bigger on the bigger scale. Then you can get the government funds. There are some government grants available. I think in America, it is the Small Business Investigation Research Grant, SBIR or SBRI, something like that. You should look for that. That's actually the best option if you can win that thing. But even to get that, you need some data to show in the grant. And that data you can get from this lab with whom you have already signed an agreement as a CRO and CMO. So you can get the data from them and you can present it into your government grants. Then you can look for the investment banks too. There are certain investment banks that actually invest in certain startups. But for me, actually, I think the most ideal are the industrial partnerships and the government funds. Once your company is like in the mid phase, then probably you can look for investment banks and the venture capitalists when you are in the trials, like the clinical trials or something. Now, the next thing is the marketing. This is, I think, the point where actually we being scientists really lack our capability. We don't know how to promote our product and device so well, like on the social media platform or in the digital marketing. These days, digital marketing is actually one of the biggest channel for marketing strategies. It is the biggest channel because most of the people engage with you. If you're looking on professional side, most of the people will engage with you on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or like other channels. So this is very important, that how you're going to market your scientific innovation, like through the graphics, or the visuals, or to the pamphlet, to the flyers, to the blurbs, to like a small spotlighting videos or whatever. So in marketing, the most important thing is the networking. I know we are so much busy in our labs, and when we enter, we want to transition our careers to industrial side or business side. We then have no connections. We don't know how to network, how to make connections with people in the similar sector. And this is a very strong pillar. I have realized in the past 2 years, for me, since actually 2019, for me, the networking was very important tool in my career. Really, really important tool. And I started building this network on LinkedIn, which is mainly the professional channel, basically. So you really need to, you can start connecting with people of similar interest or people with whom you think that you can have similar business in future. And you will need to start communicating with them. If you will not break the ice, you will not talk with them, they will not know what you want or what your idea is or what you want to work on, right? You need to break the ice. Many people will be a little bit hesitant in future to talk to you because everyone has their own, like, some people are a little bit reserved, some people are a little bit more expressive. So many times you will have actually a problem to communicate with certain people. But I think you need to be very consistent. You need to be very persistent in approaching those people, right? Because there will be a point when they will also break the ice. They will help in breaking that ice, and they will start communicating with you. For communications, for me, these 8 C's are very important. First, clear. Be clear what you want. You need to know that what you are going to ask them, right? You need to be very clear. Be concise, be to the point, like ask them to the point that what is the idea, what is the design, and what are the things, and what do you like from their company or their research background or their professional background. What do you like from that, right? Be concrete. Concrete means whatever, if you are approaching them for some idea innovation, it should be supported by facts. So it should be on the very solid foundation. Correct, be correct, like whichever information you're presenting, it should be correct. Like it should not be based on the false evidence. Be coherent. You really need to be very coherent in your approach. You need to be very logical. You need to be very like systemic in your approach. It should be complete. Whatever you are asking, it should have every point. You should not say it happens sometimes to me too. When I approach and communicate, even I try my best. Sometimes I miss a point and then I say, oh, I missed this point. I need to ask them again. These back and forth emails are sometimes not good. I know this. And I try my best not to do that. So when you are writing an email or approaching them through LinkedIn, be very complete in your message. All the points, all the tools. So I think I always suggest, if I have to write sometimes very important thing, I always write it on the Microsoft Word first. And I read it one time and then I copy paste it on the email side. Be courteous in your approach, because also you need to be receptive. You need to have a flexible mindset when you are in communicating. Not the other person is coming with the same mindset as you are. And this is now your job, how to convince them that your idea is really great, how to convince them that you are a reliable person. And in that thing, you need to be courteous. You need to be very flexible in your mindset so that you can accept their perception too. Competent. So you need to be a little bit competent, because if you are approaching some senior people, they know a lot of senior people, then why they should really talk to you? So you really need to show them from your past experiences and from your skill set that no, you have that competency level and you can compete in the market, right? So the next thing is elevator pitch. Always prepare your elevator pitch. This is very important, 2-3 minute thing. I remember once in 2012, I attended a conference. It was Society of Nuclear Medicine and Molecular Imaging. And my interview was done all of a sudden for next job in the exhibitor hall. I was walking there and one of my colleagues said, you know what, this is a job available. Why don't you talk to that, my boss right now? And he will arrange the interview. And my interview was arranged there. And of course, it was very impromptu type interview, very spontaneous. And I had to, and I think that interview was successful because I got that job. And it was, everyone was standing around me in the exhibitor hall. And that my future boss was actually talking to me and asking me the question, and I was giving him answers. And that interview was very impromptu. So you really need to prepare your elevator pitch. For example, if you encounter some very important person that you really need to have partnerships and collaboration, all of a sudden you don't need to be lost in your words. No, you really need to think, okay, you need to catch that moment. You need to seize that moment, right? So you really need to be in present, and you really need to compose yourself in a way, compose your thoughts in a way that it should look like a logical thing or logical, proposal for the other person. Now you can catch your skill. Actually, when we are looking for jobs, we also use the same thing. We build our resumes, right? Those resumes are like your own advertisement. This job market is like where you are selling your skills, basically. So you need to really know how to market your skills, not only for a job, but also in the business. So how you do that? I already said network. Network is very important. Then work on your communication skill. This is very important. Then this is another thing. I think for my business, this was the very key element, volunteer. And I didn't know at that time, like in 2020, in like yeah, it was in the late 2020 when I just made a post that on LinkedIn that I know these skills. I am a business analyst. I am a science communicator, science illustrator. If anyone needs help, I can do for free for them. And then one company approached me, one research organization approached me, one actually conference, ISRS, they approached me as a business strategist so that I can help them. And company approached me as a science illustrator. And then I did that work for free for them, right? But then when they saw my work, then I actually built the trust with them. And then they knew my work. And then they came back to me with the paid work. That was the moment that I realized, oh, I can actually cash my skills here. I can actually start my own business consultancy or like a business thing, and I should start cashing my skills. This is another thing. This is a small business venture for me. And this is how you can do it. And by trust building, you are actually doing the collaborations because those people will come back to you again and again. And this way you can actually, your business will be sustainable. It can go into the long run. So that's why it is very important also that when you are volunteering, you just don't say, oh, they are not paying me, I can just do the work like this way. No, take it as a paid work and like put your efforts there and make it as a quality work for them. When you will show the quality, that's where they will be impressed, right? They will get back to you again for the future work. So this way, I mean, this is like a circle. So it will go on. You can network more, get more communications, and it can go on and on. Now for the financial skills, I actually enrolled myself before entering into the business, like as a commercialization intern. I enrolled myself to Harvard Business School online, and I actually enrolled for myself for certain courses like business analytics, sustainable business strategy, disruptive business strategy, and there is also finance and accounting. These courses are not like other online courses. When I enrolled for my first course, I was very impressed, and then I enrolled for more courses because these were not like regular online courses. These are, when you will enroll yourself, you will feel that they are real in-class based courses. And the exams were really, really good, very like analytical type exams, and you really learn a lot and you network a lot of people in the Harvard Business School actually. Not only for the online courses, but other people also. You get to network with the professors there. So try to get some background knowledge. I wanted to get the background knowledge because I could start my internship. And these actually courses helped me a lot because in sustainable business strategy and disruptive business strategy, I actually did some like real life based cases like Amazon case, Walmart case. I read those and I did analysis for them. And in business analytics, we learned most of the statistical terms and the cost analysis and the cost structure and everything like that. Other resources that you can go when you are going to do the market research, especially in the field of the medicine, check the resources in the World Health Organization. It is the observatory. You can get the data for any country, for any disease. This will give you a respect. For example, if I'm looking for Alzheimer, I need to know how the curve is increasing, how the patients are coming more. So the more cases will be, the more that drug will be used, the more device will be used in the future, right? You can look even different cancer types. So this is really good observatory, and it is free resource for you to use it. The other one I would like to really mention is the pitch book. It is not free. You can request a free trial, but you can actually partner with other organizations like who are the NGOs, non-profit organization, who can enroll you for pitch book. And then it will be very cheap for you. Otherwise, it is very expensive. So there are many ways to enter into the pitch book. And pitch book is really good because it will give you, for the complete market analysis, it will give you like the graphs, the curves, the figures, the revenues and everything in the form of the visual data. So PitchBook is really, really good resource for you if you want to look for the market analysis. Another one that we all actually know, I think if you are chemist or if you are in the science, SciFinder. I use SciFinder really because for me, I work in the oncology and neuroscience. For me, I go into the SciFinder, I type the disease name or like I type the medicine name or medical device name, and I dig out all the research papers and patents. And then I know how much it is being used in the research, and how far is the research. I can get the data. Okay, is it increasing? So how much in papers were published in, for example, in 2011, and then how much paper were published in 2012. If the curve is increasing, it means that more and more research groups are interested in this research, and more people will buy this device in future, right? More and more people. If the curve is decreasing, for example, until 2015, it is half of the what was in 2011, then it means this is the opposite. It is not going anywhere in the next 5 years. And this is a free tool. It is available to all the universities. You can easily go there. Now I would like to give you some real life based example. This is an instant nano biosensor. This is the company that was, if you go to their website, this company was started by the scientists basically. And this guy, he's a very young guy and he did his MSc, not in business, but in the biotechnology and the research. He has a complete research background. And you can see that it is actually based on light, basically. It is for antibodies, and it starts from the analysis to the diagnostic purposes, and they are providing like a biomarker solutions. And you can see they have 35 plus global patents. They had their leading publications are, and it was founded in 2016. It is just 6 years old, and you can see they already have in 6 years 35 patents. They are participating in 15 plus projects, 30 plus leading publication, 1,000 cited publications they have. And what they developed this technique in the laboratory and they started their own company, right? So what they did, they partnered with certain industries and they partnered with certain venture capitalists. And they actually have very unique value proposition because their device compared to what is used in the laboratories, you see this is a big device, what is usually used in the laboratories. And their device is so small. It is just a sensor chip, that's it. And if you see the running time, it is just 15 minutes compared to what is available in the market, right? This is their unique value proposition. This is what makes them distinctive. Their sensitivity performance is so high. This is why their graph is increasing so incredibly higher. And that's also, they are actually approaching now the North American market, European market, who can help them bringing more sales and more marketing. So what they do, they have developed their technique. They are like a CRO and CMO. They have also contracted with them. Now they are also contracting with some marketing and sales personnel in North America, right? So this is also what you will need in future, right? And for that, you also again need to look into your resources and whichever is available for you. And you can look for some venture capitalists. They have partnered some industries. So actually industries are actually investing in them too. So this is all that I had for you. I will stop sharing my screen and I think I will see if you have any questions. I will mute myself there.
Thank you so much for your talk. So I think I can stop the recording now.